facial fractures, of traumatic brain injury, of broken bones, of serious physical injury is just out of control.
Compounding the problems at Rikers is that increase in the number of mentally ill inmates.
And that just complicates issues relating to violence, and issues relating to care, and issues relating to discipline. So it's a problem.
What was captured on this video obtained by 60 Minutes helps illustrate what U.S. Attorney Barrara is talking about. It has not been seen in public before. Bradley Ballard, who was schizophrenic and diabetic, was brought to Rikers in 2013 on charges of violating parole for an assault conviction. In the video, he was observed twisting his shirt into a phallic symbol and making lewd gestures, and then was taken back to his cell, according to an investigation by the New York State Commission of Correction.
He was placed in the functional equivalent of solitary confinement. They put him in a cell, they locked the cell, and they basically threw away the key.
Abity represents Ballard's family in a pending wrongful death suit against the city. The commission's report found that Ballard was locked in his cell for 6 days prior to his death and was denied access to his life-supporting prescription medications, and that day after day, officers, supervisors, and clinicians walked by, observed his deteriorating state, but failed to help him.
Left to die.
After repeated floodings of Ballard's toilet, a maintenance worker turned off the water running into Ballard's cell.
Why not clean it out?
The report found that Ballard was lying in his own waste.
Oh, man.
A deodorizer?
Yes. The reports are that corrections officers were bringing aerosol cans from home because the stench was so bad coming from that cell.
Here, an inmate who delivered a food tray pulled his shirt up over his nose. The report
the stench.
found the videotape indicated Ballard's cell was grossly unsanitary.
That's not good, man. They should have cleaned it.
On the 6th day, medical workers were called. According to the report, an officer asked Ballard if he could get up on his own.
Too late.
I need help, Ballard said. Inmate workers carried him out of his cell and put him on a gurney.
Oh, shit.
Records show Ballard went into cardiac arrest soon after. He died hours later.
Oh, I fucked
They
up,
watched
man.
him languish for 7 days
Oh.
as he died, and they did nothing. It was the functional equivalent of torture.
Yeah.
They killed him.
They killed
The
him.
city's medical examiner declared
Dead.
Ballard's death a homicide, according to the commission report. It called Ballard's medical and custodial treatment from the time he entered Rikers
Stinking.
so incompetent and inadequate as to shock the conscience.
Damn.
The Department of Correction issued a statement
Dead.
that it adjusted its practices to ensure that a similar tragedy doesn't happen again. But to this day, no criminal charges have been filed against any of the officers, supervisors,
close
or
Rikers
health
down,
workers
man.
involved. It's impossible to know if anyone stepped forward, but if they did, it wasn't enough to help Bradley Ballard.
That's inhumane,
Wow.
in my opinion. That should never have happened.
Norman Seabrook is president of the union that represents the correction officers, but not the higher-ranking supervisors. We showed him the Ballard video.
Who's responsible? The supervisor.
What about your officers?
The officers follow the instructions of the supervisor.
In another incident captured on surveillance video, inmate Jose Batista tried to hang himself.
Oh, hell
He
no.
had been arrested on domestic charges and was awaiting trial. He couldn't post the $250 bail. When he jumped up suddenly, officers beat him so severely
Oh,
he
shit.
suffered a perforated bowel and needed emergency surgery, according to case records.
Damn.
Batista's case was one of 129 serious injuries over an 11-month period documented in a revealing report by the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene that was intended for internal use only, but 60 Minutes managed to get a copy. The report found 77% of the injuries involved mentally ill inmates, and their injuries were severe enough to require care beyond the capacity of jail medical doctors.
Shut this
Take a
shit
third
down.
of the 77% and say that, okay, it was the inmate who was just being violent and needed to be subdued. But 77% is, I think, tells the story.
Crazy, crazy.
Dr. Daniel Selly,
Shut it
who is
down,
now in
man.
private practice,